All of our runners but one starting in the house. And none of them finding anything good.
Oh, we got our first map check. I think I saw Crystal 6 at Eastern Palace and 2 pendants, though not the green one, in Desert and Tower of Hera.
Very interesting.
So 2 Light World pendants, which makes you worry a little bit.
Yeah, this leaves only one Dark World dungeon to be factored potentially out of the equation. You'd like it to perhaps be Turtle Rock, one of the more dreaded dungeons, but it could really end up even being something like Thieves Town, as we get an early Power Glove from Kohrek in the secret passage.
Yeah, very interesting. I think Prier also picked that up, which is definitely a good early find.
Oh, I missed it down there. Whoops.
Oh, no biggie. We see Tojso farming for some bombs. You're not having a whole lot of luck with these 50-50 bushes.
Yeah, it's got the risk written right into the play, and you gotta wonder if this is gonna end up paying off for him if he checks anything else on the way through Kakariko.
Seems to be fine enough with the one bomb that he picked up. He's probably going to use that on the little bombable hut down there in the south and farm his bombs in there. A lot more convenient and reliable than going for those bushes.
Alright, what's on Lumberjack? That looked like was that a rod of some sort?
I didn't quite catch it. I was trying to see what's on the library for Tojso, but he left so quickly that...
Oh, jeez. Yeah, these guys are speed runners, that's for sure. As we get a book in the back of the bar, and can we confirm the Lumberjack? Not exactly. Huh. And our tracker's confirming it was a rod, but is unsure of... And we do have Loogaroo back.
Camp looks like all of our runners now quite synced up and ready to go. Tojso did end up farming those bombs in the little bombable hut down there. It's pretty good. You get 4 bombs every time you enter, and they're not 50-50, so you don't have to worry about them maybe not spawning.
Indeed. Play a little gamble now to get a share later. Alright, we got a chicken hut. Got the cash money.
Yeah, so far it looks like, with the exception of the Power Glove, they've only found money, really. Ooh, and there's the boots.
Yeah, what are those, as we often ask?
Alright, well, boots and Power Gloves, that doesn't really get them anywhere so far, but...
Yeah, that book in the bar back is helpful. And actually, yeah, if they, with boots, they can guarantee get through the front half of desert anyway. Oh, and it's a bug net. Time for Aghanim.
Aga required. Oh, and there's the first sword and a mirror. Okay.
Whoa. This is a pretty loaded well.
Yep, definitely. People throwing away a lot of good stuff.
And geez.
Oh, and maybe blue mail. Didn't even catch that.
Oh, right, yeah. Sometimes tricky with the custom sprites. We got a blue Santa and a blue Free Pokemon.
Alright, now Tojso picking up his equipment.
Yeah, so with this, the classic Kakariko open, we're getting a certain loadout, and it's probably going to inform our runners' decisions. Do you think they start out over in Desert before going over towards Mini Moldorm and the other southern plays?
That's a good question. I would personally probably go over to Mini Moldorm and save the dam for the way back and then go to Desert.
Makes sense.
But we'll see what our runners decide to do. We see Tojso hasn't been checking the Lost Woods yet, so he'll go back up there and pick up, or maybe just check the items. It's nothing too great as far as I remember.
I'm just going for a tree pool, it looks like. Oh, right, and having... My bad, you know things. I don't.
Sometimes. I think with Prier just checking his map, that I'm not sure about Loogaroo, but I think that's all our players haven't checked their map, so everyone's aware that the only crystal they can possibly get here will be in Eastern, and they're missing a lamp and a bow for that.
Indeed. And we're going to see Prier make that start from the house and go south, and we'll see kind of which way he goes. Oh, and we just got the ped check, and I missed it.
I saw something about a rod, but I'm not sure which rod it was. A single arrow. Okay,
well, well
that's
then.
some sort of a rod, I guess.
Interesting. And a sharp play from Tojso to get that out of the way.
Yeah, it's good to know, especially with 2 Light World pendants. You start getting a little worried that it might end up being a pedestal seat, but thankfully for our runners, it's not gonna happen. Looks like both Tojso and Prier decided to do the dam first, and then probably gonna check over to Mini Moldorm Cave.
It looks like that's where Prier's going for sure.
Yeah.
And Tojso wants that money.
Yeah, interesting. Both Kohrek and Loogaroo also going for the race game, which is, I guess, only $50, but at this point in the game, you're probably happy about some rupees.
Yeah, I'd say that's true. Especially, feels like the distribution has been all the more sporadic in each of these seeds, and so who knows if Zora will be required, for example. We've got absolutely packed Mini Moldorm.
Oh, man. That is crazy. We got a hook shot.
Or I guess it was the hook shot in the bottle. For a second, I saw a tracker misclick. That was my fault.
Yeah, I was kind of excited for the bow, too, and then I was like, wait, I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
Oh, and the flippers and the bonk rocks for Kohrek.
Oh, smart play getting those early boots.
Man, there's a lot of stuff happening right at the start here.
Yeah, and both of our right side runners putting those boots to work to get all the way out here to the Ice Rock Cave, but only for an arrow upgrade.
Yep, well, we see Kohrek check the back of escape. I like that.
Yeah, another great early play to make with this loadout. They often don't get to do sub 10 minutes like this.
He did get a key, but doesn't want to do the sewers in the dark backwards. I can't really blame him, so he decides to save and quit out.
Yeah, it's a rather remote chest. You just hope he remembers that he didn't do it later if it... And, well, there it is.
There is a cane of Samaria hidden down in the first part of
some kind of cane, man.
Yeah, it's kind of red and big, maybe.
All right, so we're finding all sorts of items.
Yeah, they're pretty well equipped already for this early in the siege. We get 2 fake flippers here. We know that it's not too much of a sequence break since Kohrek has already found his flippers in the bonk rocks next to the sanctuary.
Yeah, and so as long as he gets over for those bonk rocks, he won't have to keep that in mind for too long when it comes to kind of accounting for his own routing.
Interesting to notice maybe that without the Moon Pearl, the only one who can really check the Waterfall Fairy right at this moment is Kohrek.
Right. Yeah, gotta have that Moon Pearl to get that Jesus walk in.
He's only missing 23 rupees to have the Zora money too, so...
Oh, wait, no, Tojso is at least on it right now. I don't know if it sticks after going in and out.
Oh, very nice. He set up the water walk here and gets his first pair of gloves in here, so... That's a Titan's mitts for Kohrek.
Yeah. Huh. Well, today I learned. Meanwhile, we got Kohrek moving the rocks out in front of Desert Palace to make his way in.
Yeah, not a bad play with what they've got so far.
Yeah, at the very least, he can get his 2 items out of here, and he doesn't know it, but he won't need the pendant.
Yeah, I mean, with the boots and the early book and the sword and everything, it's definitely looking like the seed is guiding them here. If it actually has anything in here, we will find out in a minute, but... So, we know where the Titansmiths are. I'm a little bit surprised Tojso didn't pick up the other pair of gloves like all of our other runners yet, but we should be getting around to that shortly.
Yeah, did he really not go into a blind?
And apparently not. I mean, weird, but yeah.
We got a flute for Kohrek.
Yep, exactly. Kohrek just picking up the flute in desert here.
Oh, that is fantastic. Between that, our Titansmiths, all we need is that Moon Pearl, and we could have like a ridiculously early Mire area check.
And they're well on their way to that. Tojso now picking up his flipper, so that sequence break to the Waterfall of Wishing is immediately remedied by that.
Very nice. And someone in chat pointing out a very interesting spot for the Moon Pearl. In Checkerboard Cave.
That could be, for sure.
The mirror is the one item you still get to use while you're a bunny. It's, you know, written right into the game. And old man just giving a bit of love for dropping him off at home.
Yeah, nothing too great. Unfortunately, Tojso, well, I guess you can check the right side a little bit with the hook shot, so it's not too bad that he's up here. But he's not going to really... Well, he can also get into Hera now that I think about it.
Oh, right, he does have the mirror.
So yeah, I like this play. You can also check the tablet up there, see if there's anything in there that you might want.
Oh my. Well, look at his itty-bitty bunny form.
Just a little Pokeball.
Yeah. Prier picks up his flippers. And Kohrek with just some rather diverged routing here. Finally getting down to mini Moldorm.
Yeah, I think our top runners both have very interesting routing. Kohrek only just now checking out mini Moldorm, and Tojso apparently not having been to Blind's Hut yet in Kakariko.
Right. Oh, you know what? I keep saying blind. It was the secret passage. Thank you, chat.
Oh yeah, of course.
I was misreading my notes.
That also makes it a little bit more understandable why he hasn't been there yet.
Yeah, that just would have been a crazy oversight on his part.
Yeah, I would have been really surprised about that. Alright, well, we got all of that figured out.
Loogaroo finishing off the 2 items out of desert. Wishing he could flute off those steps, but...
Not quite.
Yeah, it needs to go to the vein first.
Alright, and we're getting Prier up to the Waterfall of Wishing here, so he will definitely find his mitts now. Oh, and there's a lamp in Hera.
Oh boy. And that was a fire rod, I think?
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes.
Well, it's a Tower of Fire.
Oh, it was an ice rod? Okay, it was an ice rod.
Right, we will trust our trackers on that. In which case, that is a floor of ice and fire.
And that also means that the fire rod was at the Lumberjacks, right?
If that was in fact the rod there, I think we all agree that that's what it looked like. But these runners, they whip in and out of there so fast.
Yeah, I definitely didn't catch it at all, so we'll have to see if they need to go back or want to go back there. I suppose for the fire rod...
Actually, that's gonna be... There can be only one pendant in Dark World. This is Aga required if that's a fire rod.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my. Well, there you go. But chat is saying they think it was a blue cane. So we'll see as the routing plays out, or maybe we'll find this fire rod.
There's the moon pearl for Tojso.
Oh, very nice.
Paradox cave. So all he really needs to do now is go back to Uncle and grab his mitts.
Right you are. Yeah, and so if that was only the cane of burn at Lumberjack, then I should correct and say that this is at least not for that reason an Aghanim required seed. In fact, because of Toyso's ability to go get the mitts, it's most likely... Well, yeah, he has flippers, never mind. So Aga should not be required for this.
Yeah.
Because he'll have access via the forest to the Dark World and would be able to jump in the water and swim over to like the pod and northeastern area.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we're gonna see Loogaroo pick up his hook shot here. Yep, that's what it was. I was kind of stuck there for a second.
Yep, and meanwhile, in just a moment, it looks like Kohrek will be acquiring his Moon Pearl.
Yeah, and he only needs to get over to the Waterfall of Wishing. He definitely has enough money for Zora now and grab his mitts, and that means Dark World access for him.
Right, and with that play seeming more likely than Toyso's going to Uncle in the next 5 minutes, I would say Kohrek is likely to be the first one to end up with that access.
Mm-hmm. In the meantime, Prier has picked up his flute over here in Desert. Is going to pick up a second item up here in this chest. Nope.
Oh, you know what? That item must be on Lammo, and all of our runners had lacked a fire source at the time going in.
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah, I'll admit I had not seen that last chest on each of the attempts of Desert until just then.
Okay, Kohrek checking the floating island. Very good, not to forget that. It only has a quiver upgrade today, so nothing too great.
King's Tomb only paying $5.
Not a very rich king, apparently.
No. Or maybe you give it all away before the end.
Yeah, okay, we'll go with that.
It's a nicer story, but perhaps less likely. Alright. Tojso gets his flute.
Gonna be happy about that. We see Loogaroo checking out the hobo and then maybe making his way up to Zora. Meanwhile, Kohrek decides to rescue the old man before he leaves Death Mountain. I think he's checked out a lot of other stuff up here.
I think so, and definitely a check you want to get in before you have to come back, although I guess with the flute now, it's not so big.
It's just nice to have that safe room, I guess, or that safe spot, rather.
It's true. That is, from what I understand, the quickest starting point to get outside.
Yeah, and you also get the free health refill if you give the old man a little kiss. Oh, and we're getting our first sick kit, Jack. Sick kit stacked with money.
Oh, man. Got them high copays, jeez.
And it looks like Kohrek is now on his way up to Zora, so he'll be picking up his mitts and his Dark World access. As you say, being the first one to really have the opportunity. All of our other runners either have the mitts or the moon pearl, but not both.
Yeah. And I wonder how long it'll be before Tojso gets over to Uncle, because that may end up playing into the progression of this seed. If we don't get a hammer, he's going to be, well, stuck in the light rather than the dark.
Yeah, he's going to be the first one who'll be able to check the item here on Landmo. I don't know what it could be. I mean, it could realistically, obviously, it could be anything.
Yeah.
But I think he'll be forced to go towards Uncle sooner rather than later, really.
Yeah, and I mean, he's a strong enough player that it should certainly not slip his mind, at least. All right, Kohrk's got to be feeling pretty good about that Dark World access. We'll see if Zora has anything to say about his good mood. Just wants to blow him up for it, I guess.
It's a couple expensive bombs right there.
Yep. Oh, Prier looked as if to be stuck in the wall. Managed to find his way out of that. Good on him.
Oh, and we're getting an Ice Rod Landmo last fight here from Tojso.
Yeah, this was one I didn't know about until I started watching people run this rando.
It's just so annoying to hit anything with that Ice Rod, but it does the same damage as the Fire Rod, so it's a good choice.
Yeah, it's only, what, the 2 shots, right? And that's way more power than you can pack with that sword.
Alright, Kohrek checking out King's Tomb right away. Doesn't want to miss out on that. Looks like Landmo only had a heart container for our runners, so not too necessary, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess the big thing here was you had to come down here to get the flute, which got our runners up to the mountain so they could get their lantern. So that was actually a flute-required Death Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a map check. We got 5 at Thieves, green on Swamp.
Okay, that's interesting. Thieves is, you're always happy to see Thieves Town as a crystal, and if it's Crystal 5 and you've got Crystal 6 in the Light World, that's pretty nice. I mean, there's still Bowlock from Crystal 5 right now, which is a little sad, but definitely not the worst. Swamp Palace, debatable. With how often the Pendant Dungeons hold something that you need, it's kind of annoying.
Right. And I did not get to catch what that Death Mountain Island item was, but
I believe it was nothing of importance. I don't exactly remember it. I want to say it was a quiver upgrade, but it was something like that.
Right. Chat letting us know it might have been a heart piece. So we get our Swag Duck Anthem.
And we're getting a bow out of Skull Woods here for Kohrek.
Oh my.
So much for being bow locked in Eastern.
Yeah. And Prier putting his Death Mountain access to work, or his Dark World access to work, rather, in Death Mountain.
Yeah, I like this. He came up here with the mitts already in hand and found his Moon Pearl as his last item for Dark World access, so why not immediately check out this right side? Especially considering they already have the hookshot.
Yeah, this really ends up turning into quite the route for him.
Can also get a quick check-in on that medallion for Turtle Rock, which is definitely required.
Right. Yeah, only too bad he doesn't have any medallions. There'd be a chance for one of the earliest TR plays you could imagine.
Oh man, I wouldn't want to do that, but
no, yeah. It's pretty unlikely in either case.
Alright, I was talking about it, and then I didn't look when he checked, so now I have no idea what the battalion was. Thanks to our trackers, though, it is definitely equal.
Yeah, I will admit that I often have a hard time noticing it, and so sometimes I will willfully let someone else pick that one up. But Tojso, in the meantime, grabbing his Titan's mitts, closing that loop, and gaining him some Dark World access. This Height Cave seems to fail to pay out from what I saw.
On Loogaroo screen, we're seeing probably my favorite bunny sprite out of all of them.
Oh,
An
yeah.
8-bit Luigi. It just works so well with the limited animation frames for the bunny sprite.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, while Kohrek is cleaning up Village of Outcasts, we see Tojso deciding to check that one last chest that they left in the sewers before they had the lamp. And it's Ether!
Oh, well then.
So that is 100% a required chest, and oh boy, is it not a fun one.
Yeah, and it's one that is very easy to put very low on your list.
Especially since I think all of our runners have checked both the back of Escape and down towards Zelda Cell, so
Right.
that's really the only chest that's still left there. Oh right, that had the Cane of Samaria, so I guess Kohrek hasn't been there yet either, so maybe that works out for him.
No. Alright, and getting our Smiths dropped off in short order by Kohrek, no world tour there.
Yep, with the mirror in hand, a very nice and quick thing to check.
And he gets paid well for the ransom.
Yeah, I'd take that. See Prier on the digging game right now. Let's see how many digs we have to do today and what we'll get for it.
$19 digs. Woo. For nothing.
Just a quiver upgrade, but we see Tojso throwing the frozen guard at the ball and chain guy.
Oh, the best
Automatically the
strat.
winner in my heart.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Loogaroo is grabbing his Dark World access. He just needs to go upstairs here and open the last couple of chests, and then he'll probably also be cleaning out the east side of Death Mountain in the Dark World, I'd be assuming.
In the meantime, Kohrek's gonna go after that crystal number 6. He's got everything he needs. 3 items to be had. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say I really like this decision because none of our runners have done the early Eastern dip, which turns out was a good choice, and now that he has the bow, he can just finish it up completely. Even has the lamp, so he doesn't have to sequence break anything.
Right. Yeah, this ends up fitting very nicely into the decisions he made. Because as you said, a lot of players take the dip early and end up having to double do this.
Yeah, exactly. And then he's also halfway to Pyramid Fairy access, so getting into Thieves Town and finishing that up. He probably doesn't want to go in there without the hammer, but he could theoretically get the crystal relatively quick and then, you know, check out that fairy and see if he can maybe grab a little bit of an advantage by checking that early on.
Right. Without the hammer, the only way he's going to be able to get over there.
It's gonna be Aga 1.
Yeah, how about it?
Oh yeah, I just remembered that. Well, I guess he definitely wants to find the hammer before he does that.
Oh yeah, and I mean, it would help going through, what do you call? Thieves Town, not to leave that chest behind, but... Alright, so it was definitely Blue Cane Lumberjack. Not that I had any doubts about the many people in chat who corrected us, but...
It's good
Tojso.
too.
Yeah,
we'll get there. We'll get it out.
Yeah. But yeah, Tojso taking a nice long look at it, so... Yeah, and as Mario Man 6644 points out, as far as who's winning, everyone's winning. We got 4 randos going on right now. A Master Sword in Thieves Town.
Okay, that's very good to know. That's a required sword upgrade. You definitely want to have something better than the Master Sword at the end if you can help it, but you're not getting around that Master Sword any which way.
And Thieves Town containing that mail as well. So we got our red Luigi, a la Smash Bros.
Red Luigi's a go.
Here comes a hype cave.
Yep, checking out. And the hammer.
All right.
Ooh, and another sword. And hello, a powder.
All right. That's a hype cave.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Hype. All right, let's see if I remember all this stuff to write down. So we do have Tempered Sword is available openly to all of our runners. The red mail is also available. So this is going to be a pretty protected seed by the end of it.
Yeah, it looks like it. And I'd say the chances that all of our runners will have at least a Tempered Sword are pretty good, because all these swords are in places that you're definitely going to be checking on your way. I mean, everyone's going to full clear Thieves Town, I'm going to assume. Everyone's probably going to check Hype Cave, especially because of that hammer, so even if they never check it, eventually they'll be forced to.
Right, yeah, that's basically a compulsory sword. Unless somebody ends up with hammer go mode.
I guess.
That would be so unlikely in this seed so far, though.
And there we have Prier as our first person with a Tempered Sword. Just as we talk about it, gonna pick up his red mail in a second too.
Yep. I always thought the color choice on this was very silly, because of course you got to start him out as a red Santa to be recognizable. And then he goes purple.
That purple, oh man. I already complained about it yesterday, but I'll just complain about it again.
It's too much, right? It's like some kind of Easter Santa.
Yeah, I guess.
Something.
What a weird thing.
Somebody pointing him out as Fusion Santa in chat.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Gotta have our Super Metroid and, or well, I guess Metroid Fusion and Zelda crossovers. Alright, here comes a blind fight for Loogaroo, as now we've got all 4 runners in the same dungeon. So like you said, we're gonna end up with swords galore.
Everyone gets a sword and a red mail.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like Loogaroo is doing pretty okay so far. He went a little bit off script, it seems like, because Blind went down, but he's fine on hearts, and he's down to the last 2 hits here.
Oh man, but he is starting to get some hugs. There he goes. Pulls it out. Nice job. So he's got his first crystal just a few minutes after Kohrek picking up Eastern Palace.
Interestingly enough, if it does turn out that the big chest holds an item, Prier is going to be the only one who will be able to open it.
Right, and I suppose we'll see that before we get to the blind fight, which would have otherwise been the last item.
Yeah, I admit I haven't been counting since everyone's been in Thieves Town, but at a different place in it, it's kind of confusing a little bit.
Yeah. Would you say Kohrek's sprite is holding his breath for something good?
Oh man, I missed him picking up the red mail. Ooh. But yes, it does look like our frog is having a little bit of a breathing problem here in the red mail.
Indeed. Now, one fun thing with Prior sprite is that Blind is dressed to match.
That's true.
But other than that, that purple Santa's just giving me agita. Loogaroo making his Skull Woods play now too. Gonna end up with that bow for it, which is nice.
And it seems like there's a map in the big chest, so none of our runners really missing out on anything.
Yeah. And Red Dragon was somewhere. I totally missed it.
It was in the back of Sahasrala's hut.
Ah. Jeez. Always looking away when somebody was there, I guess.
Yeah, I just caught it more or less on accident just a minute ago. I think on... I don't even remember. Loogaroo's side, maybe?
Yeah. Speaking of missing things, you blink and you miss that blind fight from Prier as Tojso begins his. On a lonely arrow sits here. That's the pedestal text.
I'm not sure how I made that into a rod earlier, but...
Yeah. I think it was a conscious effort by... It was Tojso or Kohrek, whoever went up there.
Mm-hmm. Alright, Tojso picking up his crystal, and Kohrek really right behind him. You know, Loogaroo checking out what he can of Skull Woods. He's already picked up Ether. I think the only person who really knows about Ether and Turtle Rock is Prier right now, right?
Right. And he's getting a bat check. Bombos.
Okay. That might be required for Meyer, we don't know yet, but it's also a good thing to have for Ice Palace, potentially.
Yeah, it's certainly got the opportunity, and also, I've totally blanked on if you just said this or not, but Ice Palace.
Yeah, that's exactly what I just said.
Oh, I thought you said about Meyer first. Yikes, man. I need more coffee, as Willard would say.
Definitely. But that's what we're here for. That's why two people are commentating, not just one person.
Oh, and I couldn't do it without you, Herf.
Aww. Yeah, we make a pretty good team, no doubt about that.
Oh, shucks.
Alright, and it looks like Prier immediately deciding to do exactly that with his Bombo, so he is off to Ice Palace.
Yeah, it's a good move. He's got his hammer. He's got a cane if he wants to do a any sort of shenanigans with that second to last room in the push block.
Yeah, very true. And he does have the Tempered Sword, so the Cold Stare fight isn't all that scary either.
Yeah, no, he's gonna be able to put those guys, or put Bombos to work on the ice stage, and then just go to town with that Tempered Sword.
We'll see if his early Ice Palace here pays off or not. I'm surprised none of our runners have checked the Meyer area yet.
Yeah, you know, it's not often you get to make that early check. But I guess when the seed's a little dry on medallions, you're kind of like, oh, well, you're thinking about the dungeon. But there are a couple other locations to check there. I suppose it was slightly devalued by the early book, too. Because sometimes players like to route in a double whammy of Meyer and P.
Yeah, that's very true. We'll see. I mean, it's not really too strange. They've had places they can go to that aren't required for you to, you know, flute there, pick up a rock, warp to the Dark World, warp back again, check a bunch of random spots.
Yeah. Well, especially because you can basically just flute there. Like, yeah, it's like out of the way in a weird sort of way, but not exactly in terms of time. But yeah, Kohrek getting his hammer now while we get a bottle from Stumpy. And we're getting our third Alec Baldwin check, if I'm counting right.
Yeah, I believe so.
Prier just continuing his descent.
Yep, now Tojso gonna be picking up his hammer. And his tempered sword, of course.
Indeed. And that kind of makes that just a little bit hyper on his end, right?
Yeah,
Really,
you're
it's the same
definitely-
progressive sword.
It's just a good feeling getting a better sword.
Oh yeah. Won't get into that glorious bacon level because now he doesn't have to worry about spinning Ganon. Ugh.
Yeah, you definitely want to avoid that at all times. And they haven't found the silvers yet, so if it all comes down to it, they might have been stuck with a Master Sword silverless Ganon, which is like everyone's nightmare, basically.
Yeah, it is the basically the lowest percent Ganon plus minus your male.
So I'm sure that's a relief for all of our runners, especially with the silver still at large. There's a good chance, obviously, that they might still run into them, but having that tempered sword makes you happy. Makes you feel a little bit more comfortable with the rest of the seed.
Absolutely. And Prior finding a cape in Ice Palace. I believe we had bumper checks and it wasn't really worth, so the only thing I could really come in for is Spike Cave. Actually, no, it's not true. Laser Bridge as well.
Yeah, true. I mean, it's definitely a helpful item to have. I'm sure with the cape in hand, he'd rather be having half magic as well.
Right.
But, you know, you'll take what you can get.
Yeah, and one of my favorite trolley item spots is to get the half magic from Cold Stare, so if I were to get a wish, it would be that. Although I suppose when you only have Bombos and you can't run out of magic with your Fire Rod, it's only half as fun.
Yeah, true.
And
so we
Kohrek's
see...
been... Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just gonna say...
Yeah,
see...
I've been stealing them from you.
We see Kohrek is making his way through Pod while Tojso is finishing up his Sahasra's hut check before going possibly first into Eastern and then back into Pod.
Alright.
But you might want to route them both together.
And I got to take back what I said about not being able to run out of magic with Fire Rod, because that's what Prior just found in the spike chest in Ice.
Okay, so Fire Rod and Ice. That is interesting.
Yeah, it's I guess it has to be magical to survive those temperatures.
And that also means, since we already know where the Ice Rod is, that Turtle Rock is pretty much fully available to us
Absolutely,
right now.
and honestly, they got the tempered sword, they got the hammer, they got the rods. Well, they have access to the rods. Prior not having the Ice Rod at the moment, which coming from his skip of Hera. And also, someone in chat pointing out that made powder required. You needed the Bombos to get into Ice Palace. Which is an interesting thing, because, I mean, while our players are aware of the fact, it might not be a thing they prefer to do.
Yeah, it always feels weird to go in here just with Bombos, and especially without half magic. I mean, there's not too many spots where you're forced to use it, but you always want to be careful about that.
Yeah, the last thing you want is to get to the Cold Stare fight and not even have enough magic for the Bombos. Which is bad times.
So it turns out that immediate ice check for Prior really paid off. He can do the
it's gonna be
Woods
big.
if he wants to. It's also his first fire source. He hasn't picked up his lamp yet, so...
Right, because that was up in Tower of Hera.
Yeah, Tower of Hera check maybe actually turned out to be a good thing for Prior. As long as he doesn't put it off for too long.
Right, with it being a pendant, it may be somewhat out of his mind. Meanwhile, oh, there's Quake in Palace of Darkness. Just gonna remark how it didn't seem to be paying out.
So that's our third medallion found then.
Yeah.
All of our runners here having different medallions. Kind of weird.
Yeah, they're gonna have to get that Game Boy Link cable and trade them up.
Yeah, or use that co-op mode that we have for Link to the Past that shares items with your co-op partner. Oh man, wouldn't that be crazy if we set up a co-op between green and yellow and blue and red,
Oh,
and
man.
then have them race? I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
Alright, now Prior going to the back of Skull Woods here, deciding to put his fire out to use immediately.
Indeed.
Not a bad choice. He just really needs to get back up to Tower of Hera sooner rather than later.
Right, yeah.
He still has a couple of options left for him. As I said earlier, the Mire area.
Oh, we're gonna get that Bombos put to work here.
Very nice.
Nobody got time for Gibdos.
I only wish it would also light the torches all at once.
Oh, that would just be the baller move right there, right?
That would be so good.
And so that mushroom coming out of pot as well leaves a fetch quest to be done.
And
The
I mean,
flute, I think they'll get right to it.
yeah, and the powder is already paid off, so maybe this is the fetch quest seed.
Yeah, maybe fetch is gonna happen.
Alright, Prior now on his Mothula fight. Let's see how lucky he gets with the spikes here.
Yeah, let's see who gets done first. We got a Helmasaur fight in progress on the top left as well, but looks like Moth goes down. Lacking
Yeah,
those silvers, the second face on Helma is just a tiny bit longer, but really good fights from both of our runners.
Yep, definitely very good. Both of our runners picking up those crystals.
And so as crystal counts go, Prior is in the lead with 3. Or wait, no, I missed Thieves Town for Kohrek. They're actually in sync at 3. Rip me.
Though Prior now has the opportunity. Wait, no, I'm stupid. He doesn't. Never mind me. Kohrek does have the opportunity to check the Pyramid Fairy if he so chooses.
Indeed. And having gotten that hammer, he will have canceled that final suspicion of a need for Aghanim.
Mm-hmm. Probably be dipping into Swamp now, maybe? He might be doing the bomb before he dips into Dependent Swamp.
Yeah, I mean, it's a play that I could totally understand runners making as soon as it was available, simply so as not to forget it.
Mm-hmm.
On a swag hammer dash from Tojso as he runs up the final stretch before his Helmasaur fight. And here is Kohrek with the big bomb.
Yep. Tojso entering his Helmasaur fight, while Loogaroo isn't too far behind, just cleaning up the rest of Pod here before making his way down to the boss. Prior getting his Bumper Cave check in. Oh man, that Helmasaur King fight was quick and to the point.
Indeed. I guess this is probably our first pyramid check altogether, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so let's see. We'll see him drop the bomb off and go past what I call a trash bag monster and find bombs on the pyramid.
Okay, so no big miss for any of our runners here when the pyramid item. Always feels bad when you get here like almost an hour into the seed and then you realize, oh wait, this really, really good item has been just sitting here for an hour.
Yeah, I've seen that punish a number of runners in various matches. from, in particular, from our entrance shuffle tournament that had been going on, and we'll be finishing up in the course of the next week, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, looks like we're getting a catfish check out of Prier as he heads to the far northeast of the Dark World.
Yeah, curious to see what he has today. It's quite the out-of-the-way spot. You kind of, I don't know, it always feels bad to run up here and then not get anything, but every now and again, you'll spit out just the right item.
Right. And
today.
One of the things that has changed over time with this randomizer is now that we include the Waterfall of Wishing in the item pool, putting the 2 chests in there for you to get, that Zora play comes earlier and earlier in the run, or at least if only just the play to the Waterfall. Mm-hmm. Whereas traditionally the routing had been to save Zora for when you can do Catfish with Mirror and then just knock the whole thing out at once. So it really just kind of highlights the fact that it's just one item.
Yeah, it's just really the one out-of-the-way item that you kind of want to skip if you can help it in any case.
Yeah.
Alright, so right now we're not seeing too much new things from our runners, just finishing up what the other players have done before them. See Kohrek down and escape. Mirrors back out and is gonna check the last chest here for the ether. Tojso making his way through Eastern Palace. Loogaroo just finishing up Pod. And it looks like Pod and Eastern is also where Prier is headed now, so...
It's really just going to be a reroute.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what do we need? We don't know Myers' medallion yet. Other than that, all of our crystals are certainly assailable.
Yeah, I think right now, Prier...
Or go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say right now, I'd say Prier and Tojso are probably closest to Gomo, just judging by their items that they have. And most of the items that they're missing are available to them.
Right.
So, are we even still looking for anything specific? We found all medallions. We know where the ice rod or the fire rod is. We know where Bombos is, so we don't really have to worry about the Meyer medallion. So I think if we manage to combine the items of all of our runners, we will beat Go mode.
Yeah, that is correct. We do have all the knowledge we need spectating to understand where we're trying to lead these runners with our minds.
Mm-hmm.
The one that sticks out to me is the ether in the back of the dark part of Escape for Tojso. Or not ether, never mind. Or not for Tojso, but for Prier, rather.
Yeah.
That seems like the most likely item to kind of go ungot.
Yeah, it's an easy chest to not really forget. Ooh, we got a butter sword from Kohrek.
Yes, that's in the Meyer shed is our 4th sword.
And both do need ether, so that chest becoming even more important.
Yeah, that's going to be a potential problem for Prier if he doesn't remember to put that in. Because a fire rod being in Ice Palace is likely to be checked by Tojso. Because he knows he's going to need it to do Skull Woods, and eventually will just bite the bullet and say, hey, well, when he finds Bombos at the bat, supposing he goes there, he'll know he can do IP over Skull Woods.
Yeah, so basically both Tojso and Kohrek need to go for a bat check. So does Loogaroo. And Prier needs to remember that one chest.
And also Tower of Hera.
Oh, yeah.
Ice Rod. So yeah, Prier, while he is obviously demonstrating some excellence overall, like he's got the perhaps the most likely routing to take long. As Kohrek puts ether to use in that first room of Mire to pretty good effect.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Now we're getting Tojso here with the big bomb running up the pyramid. Well, interesting to see, since both Crystals 5 and 6 were available relatively early on for these runners. If we get a Pyramid Fairy check from all of them.
Yeah, I know it would be my own tendency as these plays come up like this that are kind of out of the way one-shot plays. I might be inclined to do them just so I don't forget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also like to just kind of get them out of the way and then be like, okay, now I can concentrate on the big places that might, you know, have more stuff but also mislead me more.
Right. Yeah, but in either case, this seed has been honestly rather liberal with the items altogether. Oftentimes we talk about how trolly things are, but really, like, I think the worst this one gets is Dark Escape.
Yeah, the Dark Escape and maybe the bombos on that leads into an Ice Palace that has Fire Rod. That's maybe a little bit trolly, I guess.
Yeah. It's certainly a bit longer of a chain than you'd expect to get through a crystal dungeon.
I mean, as you say, all of our runners are probably well aware of the fact that you can clear Ice Palace with just bombos, but
I should hope so.
It's just kind of a weird feeling to be like, okay, I guess I'm going in here without the Fire Rod then.
We do see that Catfish mirror to Zora play from Tojso.
It's still a good routing choice. I mean, at
definitely.
least you're not just going up there for the Catfish.
Right. And having just avoided it for Zora earlier, as we get Kohrek going into his Vitreous fight. He's got Cape, he's got Gold Sword, and he's even just going to do tank strats here with that red mail.
Yeah, 2 spins with the Butter Sword, really not too bad at all.
Yeah. Dodging out from the lightning. And getting ready to unload some arrows into that giant awful eyeball.
Yep, 8 arrows to the eye, and then you're good to go.
Tojso will be right behind him on the Mire play, getting his Gold Sword and the crystal, we hope, but knowing where the rest of the items are, we knew there was nothing really of worth in Mire.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Kohrek's going back. He's apparently still missing an item in here.
Ah, right. Of course, we know it's not his Bombos or Fire Rod. Also, no sight of silvers yet, but if they're all going to end up with Gold Sword, then it's really not that big a deal.
Yeah, definitely not.
Prier going to put that Fire Rod to work, lighting up the dreaded turtle room, getting a pretty clean kill in there, all things considered. Oh, and Loogaroo getting a cheeky dodge from the last Armos Knight as he goes into pink mode. Alright. Up and so the kind of cleaning up of the seed continues. We're just sort of waiting on our runners to make certain plays to get this thing in the go mode. And of course, in the meantime, they're cleaning up their crystals and putting their boss fights on display.
And man, that last item in Mire really eluding Kohrek here.
Now, has he gone and done the dreaded long one, the vanilla big key spot?
I believe he skipped out on that so far.
To be honest, I don't blame him. They say that scene's just as long as the cut in Palace of Darkness, but it feels like an eternity in comparison.
Oh man, and if it isn't in here,
and we're gonna
Aw.
get a look at it.
Yep, he can't avoid it. He tried so hard, but it's gonna be in there.
Yeah. Well, maybe he has to get up and stretch his legs or something. Looks like Loogaroo is gonna head up the mountain.
Yeah, maybe making his way to Hera. It wouldn't be a bad choice at all, as we know.
Yeah, it's gonna work out quite well for him.
Oh yeah, and Kohrek doesn't have the fire rod yet, obviously, so he has to do this the slow way, making it even worse.
Oh no, and catching a slight delay from the Wizrubs there. But he does get there in time as we watch his screen begin to shake.
Shaky, shaky. So it was at least worth it for him. I mean, we do know it can't really be anything that he needs anymore. So it's probably going to be disappointing either way.
Right.
Could still be the silvers.
Yeah, it could be the silvers. It's 300. I was going to say it could be the shovel.
Oh yeah, it could be the shovel.
And Chad asking what was that magic bat, and seems like Chad has it covered on the answer too, but for anyone else, we have to go to the bat to get the bombos, to go to Ice Palace to get the fire rod in order to clear Skull Woods, and who knows what in Ganon's Tower.
Don't forget about Turtle Rock.
Oh, also Turtle Rock, of course. Although, to be honest, I would rather forget about Turtle Rock.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah. Oh man, Tojso going to Mash City with that bow.
Oh, but okay. I think Kohrek is just gonna check out the right side of Death Mountain here in the Dark World. I was gonna say, I hope he's not gonna make the gamble for Fire Rod and Turtle Rock.
Oh, I should hope not. To be, yeah, it would just be so much quicker to go to. Oh wait, he's been to Hera.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
and that's the thing. I mean,
yeah.
Since he still doesn't have the bombos, he has no reason to suspect Ice Palace. And I don't know if he's already up here. We'll see.
Yeah, actually, I can't. I mean, I guess he hasn't been in the Hookshot Cave, so maybe he'll call it after that. But
yeah, I can only hope. I mean, once he sees he can get in the Turtle Rock, he does have the Cane of Samaria. You see, Loogaroo is apparently just making that play.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we were talking about Kohrek, right? Because then I looked down, I thought maybe I'd made another faux pas.
He might have just opened it up for later use, which it looks like he has, and has maybe no intention of going in yet.
Right, but he also, having not done Hookshot Cave, will pick up these 4 chests and be nonplussed.
Mm-hmm. Alright, Kohrek, I'm sure you'll open it up, but let's not go in.
Oh, we're hoping anyway, just because we have the advantage of knowledge here. That Dead Rock was trying to turn him away from the path as well.
Yeah, though, to be fair, that will be the first squirrel in Link to the Past history that's not trying to troll you, but actually help you.
Yeah. There's got to be one, right? And we do see Luke's going to take the dive.
Oh yeah, Luke's heading in. Let's see if Kohrek is also heading in.
Yeah, we'll see if this first chest isn't a key, then he's going to be right out of here. Needing that fire rod for the next room. Oh, but it's a key, and so there will be further misdirection.
Oh man, and Kohrek's doing the same.
Yep. Meanwhile...
Oh, and it looks like Tojso also has that idea.
Oh man, jeez.
Oh boy.
And we're just waiting on Tower of Hera from Prier and then Dark Escape, and he will have a distinct advantage over these guys, but he's got a different conundrum altogether in that situation.
Yeah, we really don't know if or when he'll remember that Dark Escape chest.
Yeah. All right, putting that red rang to work, and he gets a big key, and so he is locked out of this, so it's going to be cut at least somewhat short.
Yeah, okay,
which is to their benefit.
That's actually very good for all of our runners.
Yeah, that means we have to have a key over in that room past the torches with the rollers. I'm curious if we'll see... Oh, Tojso's setting up a spike cave. He doesn't have the cape yet. And so he's farming this spot, doing his up, down, left, right.
Mm-hmm.
Or his right up, left down, rather. Catches himself a fairy, which is going to be of great assistance. And good on him for remembering he has the net and a bottle for it. You might be inclined to just grab that, but it's actually worth a lot less when you were only missing 2 hearts to begin with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we're getting a mushroom check from Prier. And it's just a heart. We knew it couldn't be anything too crazy. Well, besides silvers, perhaps.
There's a fairy revival for Tojso. Gonna pick up the rock here. Should be just fine.
And it's half magic, alright.
Oh, that's very worth it. And it looks like Kohrek is right on his tail.
And it would have been something if he had had the cape there and ran out just to get the half magic in the refill. But half magic is pretty nice all the same.
Absolutely.
Kohrek going the potion route. Prier picking up Butter Sword as he's about to follow Loogaroo into Misery Mire.
Yeah, looks like both of our bottom runners deciding to do Misery Mire next. Not a bad choice. They can clear it out. We've seen that they won't really find anything in here item-wise, but at least it's another crystal, right?
Indeed. And you got to be thinking about that when you know you have them available. And while this proved to be a rather elusive mire in that the second item was buried behind the vanilla big key.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you said, crystals are crystals, and that's what's going to get the seed done for you.
And I think Kohrek here with the check-in, the Ice Rod Cave, he might be clearing up the last couple overworld spots he hasn't checked yet, so that might lead him to the bad very soon.
I think so. He's going to spot 4.
Oh, is it the swamp? Nope,
I know.
it's not.
Now, see, I thought so too. I guess maybe he hasn't seen the Hylia Island yet. He's going to go take a look. It's a shield upgrade. And I guess he hasn't done Hobo either.
Could have sworn he's been there already, but apparently not.
Alright, we do see the Tower of Hera play from Prier now. This is going to be much to his benefit.
Yeah, he's going to be very happy about this.
Yeah, and he's going to be in go mode.
It's going to put him at a huge advantage, really. That early bad check.
Yeah, no, he needs ether. He needs ether. I forgot.
Oh, yeah, right.
Ah, goodness.
That ether. Oh, man.
And that's going to be a while.
Okay, never mind that about the huge advantage, unless he immediately decides to go check Dark Sewers after that.
Prier's not going to have to clear it or finish Tower of Hera to answer chat, because he's about to get a second item here with this. And having the mirror, he's going to do a bonk out of habit and just get on out.
Yep, just gonna get right out of there. The thing now is, he can't get into either of the last 2 crystal dungeons, so now he needs to remember where Ether is, or rather where he has not checked for items yet. The problem is, he might end up going for a full clear of the Swamp Palace. Maybe even checks Asrala for the green pendant before he decides to go into the Dark Sewers.
Yeah, and right now he's even going to make sure Well, he was double checking the medallion at Meyer.
Oh, and talking about Swamp, Tojso making his way in there.
Yeah, and it's only a shame that we know that it's going to be only items about as good as that, plus minus silvers.
Does look like Kohrek is right behind him, though, so at least it won't be a huge waste of time for him while his opponent further progresses into the seed.
Yeah, and these guys following the version 26 meme pendant dungeons, and yet this time it seems to be overworld locations that are the most elusive. The Bombos at the back and the Ether Medallion in the Dark Escape, that one lonely chest in the dark.
Oh man, and Prier is going for Swamp too, so no matter which
it's
medallion you're missing, you're going into the wrong place.
Unfortunately. Hey, there you go. It's a medallion troll seat. Although, 3 of our runners probably think it's a fire rod troll seat.
Which, you know, also kind of true, I guess.
Yeah. Once the medallions work out for those 3 runners, they'll excuse me. They'll happen on that rod. But for now, it just feels like another randomizer seed with a trolley rod. And to answer some questions in chat, Ether is in the lonely chest in the back of Escape in the dark. Yeah, it's a rough spot indeed for that item. Meanwhile, Bombos hides at the bat and blocks the fire rod.
It's quite crazy. And this really shows that Rando is a lot about execution and your knowledge of all the tricks and everything. But it also just comes down to luck sometimes, or your routing choices. If any of these players had decided to do... If Prier had decided to do the Dark Escape chest like half an hour ago, he would have been in go mode pretty early on, I'd say.
Oh yeah, he would have been in line to challenge some of the best times in the tournament so far.
And same for Kohrek and Tojso. If they had decided to go with the bat check before doing any of the other stuff that they've checked, and now full clearing Swamp, potentially at least, they could have been in a pretty quick go mode themselves. So yeah, you're always a lot smarter in hindsight, but sometimes...
Yeah, and we have the advantage of seeing it all at once, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
it's a doozy.
It's always easy to say when you have the ultimate knowledge about everything that's happening in the seed.
And Sylphid pointing out in chat that at least to Prier's benefit is he can't dive into Mire or Turtle Rock.
Yeah, very true. I mean, it kind of worked out for him missing out on that one pendant, but obviously now it's just holding him back.
Yeah. And we do see finish on Swamp Palace from Tojso. Kohrek is close behind, and then on his tail is Prier. Each of our guys going to end up with a 3rd bottle from this affair with a red potion in it. We'll see if, well, for the top seed, it'll be, or the top pair, it'll be evened out, but perhaps in dire straits, that red potion will make the difference.
And it looks like Tojso is on the perfect way here.
All right, he's going to bat.
If he immediately goes to Ice Palace afterwards, which I'm pretty sure he will once he sees that it's Bombos, he is going to be in the lead for a little bit at least, depending on where Kohrek decides to go after this Args fight.
Right, which he is now just finishing. And yeah, I think Tojso knows, because it's the one crystal he has just gained access to. So you got to think with the way he had been routing prior to this, that's going to be on his mind.
And that's gotta, if you're Tojso, are you feeling behind right now? That's gotta make you nervous, right? You just full cleared a green pendant dungeon for nothing.
Right. Yeah,
And
I think
then,
at the very least he's frustrated. I think he knows he's a strong runner. He knows so is Kohrek though, and he wonders, well, maybe he thought the same thing.
mm-hmm.
And so, since he wanted to buy potions anyway, and because it's such a quick check, I do agree with getting your mushroom out of the way here.
Yeah, definitely. It's always a good idea with the flute to just flute to 2 and check in there. Check the mushroom if you have it. Buy a bunch of potions. It never hurts. And it costs so little time overall.
Indeed.
And if you can save yourself from dying with a blue potion that you bought previously, it'll immediately make up for the time loss that you maybe had.
Absolutely. I know we got Fat Fairy coming in for Loogaroo, which we know is the blue rang's in there.
Yeah, blue rang and 3 bombs or something equally useless.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Ice Palace is live for Tojso rather. We're being asked to do a roll call in chat. I'm Epibliticus.
And I'm Herfy Durfy.
And we're glad you're here.
Yes, we're very glad to have you with us. This exciting race looks to be shaping up where we can finally sort of tell who is in the lead and who isn't.
Yeah.
Looks, for our top racers, it looks like Tojso has built up a little lead with getting that bad check in right after clearing out Swamp Palace, and now making his way through Ice Palace. Gonna grab his Fire Rod, finish up his last couple of dungeons. Kohrek's still working on that. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off.
Oh, no, it's okay. I was cutting in anyway, so keep going.
I was just going to say Tojso making his way through the rest of Swamp Palace. He's not going to find anything here, unfortunately. Might even go back to check that big chest. And, yeah, for our bottom runners, we're, I would definitely give Prier the lead right now, depending on where he goes next. That Dark Sewers chest with the ether that he's missing, it might be the last place he checks.
Yeah, it's gonna be unlikely for him to forget it altogether, but it's definitely just down there on the list of things you check. But other than that, as far as deciding that bottom race, he has the 1 crystal lead, where the 2 items that Loogaroo are missing are keeping him from the rest of his crystals. He can't get into ice, he can't go any further in Skullwoods or Turtle Rock, and so in one way, it's likely he's going to even this out sooner, but after that, he's still got to go in and get into Ice Palace and get that Fire Rod, where I blinked or no, I got my runners mixed up is what I did. I thought I was watching Prier do Ice Palace just a minute ago, but it was Tojso.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so Tojso with the clear advantage here, as he's going to make his way on the way back down here. He's going to get that chest in that room, and it's going to be go mode.
Absolutely. He's going to be very happy to see that. You know, Kohrek looks to be going... Oh, where is he going? Is he doing a pet check?
I suppose he had it done sooner.
That's a little bit unfortunate for him. Every minute he's not checking the bad, he's wasting time, basically. Okay, Tojso picking up his first shield after 1 hour, 20 minutes.
Right.
Okay, Kohrek, where are you going?
Yeah, what are you doing, buddy?
That's a good flute.
And go mode for Tojso with that Fire Rod pickup.
Alright, 1 hour, 19 minutes, go mode for Tojso. Meanwhile, we see Loogaroo dipping into Swamp Palace. And it looks like Prier is also exchanging his green pendant. I think it was only a red rupee. Yeah.
Right.
Alright, Prior. There's not too much left for you to check, I don't think.
Yeah, it's oh man. So you had to go dark escape. That's the play. He's what's he thinking?
I'm trying to figure out where he's going. I don't really know, to be honest. Maybe he wants to recheck the floating island. Maybe he hasn't checked it yet.
Cause he had, oh wow, yeah, with putting that gold sword to work on Tojso's screen. Cold Stare barely got a chance to move.
Yeah, that was a beautiful fight. I blinked and it was over, basically.
Look at Kohrek, look at Kohrek.
Oh, Kohrek,
He's doing the thing.
That's
He's
good.
Doing what to do. Getting his bombos.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was wondering, has he not checked the medallion for Turtle Rock? So he may be thinking, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And he's about to get some disappointment.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that sucks for Prior. I mean, thankfully, Loogaroo is going to be busy with the Swamp Palace clear for quite a while. But still, that's got to be an awful feeling coming up here with 2 medallions and knowing, okay, I can't get into Mire, but maybe I can get into Turtle Rock, and then womp womp.
Yeah. And you know what? I think he was up here before, and our trackers confirming that, dude. And I was gonna say he doesn't have half magic yet, so he's going to Spike Cave.
All right, I mean, not what he's looking for, but at least it's a good item to have. And he is also the only one who has the cape.
Right, so he's gonna. Oh, and he sneaks that activation in there.
Barely.
Yeah.
All right, there's half magic.
And that's gonna help out with his Trinex fight.
Mm-hmm.
Between that, Boots, and Gold Sword, we may see a lot of our backdoor zero cycle if these runners are up for it.
Okay, so this looks like a good choice for Prior. Maybe he is thinking about that chest?
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's his move.
That's I think the only thing he can check. I think he's done everything else in here, so he's definitely going the right way.
Yeah. So at this point, we got all of our runners slowly working their way towards the smarts. And here he goes. He's in the dark. He's got the lantern.
Yep, at this point, I can't say with 100% certainty, unless he's just farming bombs or something weird is going on. I'm very sure he's going to be picking up his ether, and he's going to be very happy about that.
Woo! There he is. Go mode. He warps right out.
Mirrors right out.
And down goes Mokula.
Oh man, yeah, that was real quick. Alright, Prior starting out with Mire. Hey-oh, see what I did there?
Oh, I see what you did there. Alright, we got a bomb jump coming from Kohrek. And will we get Bird Toss? This has been the only opportunity for Bird Toss, and I really hope he delivers.
Yeah.
I
think
he's too go mode.
I think he's feeling really behind with that chest down there.
Yeah, that's one that I think I would just feel completely out on. Like, just, oh no, it was here the whole time. Somebody definitely went here.
Absolutely, 100%. He checked pretty much everything else. He even rechecked the medallion for Turtle Rock up there, so he's 100% feeling behind right now.
Yeah. And to explain for Chad, I had a couple asks. The bird toss is mostly just a silly meme. If you use Ether, you saw that that Dacto fell frozen. You can pick him up and throw him in the lake. All just for good fun. Does it get a second bomb jump for Court?
Very nicely done. Okay, in the meantime, we see Tojso making his way back into Turtle Rock.
The real deal Turtle Rock play now.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna see go mode. He already has that big key from a prior dip. So it really just needs a key at, oh, I forget after which room. I think it's basically the first key after the chain chomp room. Is pretty much head to the boss. Prior dips deeper into the basement.
Yep, while Loogaroo finishes up his Swamp Palace, probably also gonna turn in his green pendant in the hopes of finding the next item he needs.
And then hopefully getting to bat.
Yeah, that is absolutely what he needs to do.
Yeah, we want him to do it. And so Kohrek is now in the go mode, heading into what will become his cold stare fight in just a moment.
Yep, about 6 minutes behind Tojso on the go mode get. We'll see if Kohrek gets the opportunity to make up a little bit of that time somewhere.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Prier picking up, or almost picking up his penultimate crystal, going for the cape and dash threads.
I do like it. It's cathartic.
I feel so
and he's
good.
going to go to town on that eyeball the same way.
Yep, doesn't bother with any arrows, just slashes away with the butter sword. Meanwhile, Kohrek here, getting a cold stare fight out of the books.
Yep. All right. And we're getting a peg check from Loogaroo, and then hopefully he remembers a couple other item spots here.
Yeah, I think there's a pretty good chance that he might be checking out the bat after this.
Oh, and you know what? Tojso hadn't been here before. At least I would guess based on his just getting that big key from the chain chomp room.
Oh yeah, interesting.
Yeah, they a lot to keep track.
Yeah, I was sure he had been in here too, but apparently not.
Tricksy runners. Meanwhile, we got Loogaroo doing the smart.
Yep, Loogaroo going exactly where he needs to go.
But he's definitely feeling behind at this point.
I'm wondering where Kohrek is going. Oh, he's doing Skullwoods, of course.
Right, having just gotten his fire rod, he's gonna go put the big hurt on the moth.
Yeah, he fluted up to Death Mountain for a second and then realized, wait, I want to save Turtle Rock for last, obviously, from my way over to Ganon's Tower.
Right. This is the most convenient routing. Each of our runners is probably going to be thinking to pull that off.
Mm-hmm.
And Loogaroo taking his Bombos to the only place he knows, Ice Palace.
Very good. So he's going to be in go mode in not too long of a time. Gonna have to finish up Skullwoods as well, and then go back up to Turtle Rock and finish that. Meanwhile, Prier entering Turtle Rock with his last required dungeon. So we're gonna have both our right side runners basically getting into Ganon's Tower. And, well, there will be some difference. Tojso is definitely a little bit ahead here. But,
at this point, the lead for each of them is quite solid, and it's going to take some significant mishaps to cause any sort of turn.
Mm-hmm.
Silver's on the way to the bridge.
All right.
And ahead of a key, too, so it's likely all of our runners are going to be finding those.